Welcome to the career modules. The purpose of these modules is to be used as a clarity tool designed to help you determine if you are in the wrong career, a misaligned job, or at a point where entrepreneurship or redirection is necessary. And it's based on three critical factors: placement, people pleasing, and potential. The beliefs that you are here to unlearn in this module is that your happiness doesn't matter. And for the men, that providing is the most important thing, that nothing else is important. So, not right now in this video, we're going to hop right into the people pleasing. Okay. So, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay. So let's start with the first sign that you might not be in alignment with your job. You are people pleasing. Okay. If you had to contort yourself in the interview process just to get through the door, that's your first clue. Okay. Were you answering the questions, the interview questions, the application questions? Were you answering them with how you really feel or how you think they wanted you to sound? I remember in one of my very first jobs, I think this was my second job, when I was working at Best Buy. I remember this was the first time my mom told me, "Don't answer the questions on the application the way you want to answer them. Answer them in the way that the interviewer or the business wants to hear them." And I was like, "That's stupid. Why would I do that? Because that means I'm lying." And it was like, you have to lie to get the job it is that you want. And that's not job prep. That's lying. That's performance. And when your value becomes tied to how well you perform or how well you please, you're already moving out of alignment. Okay. So think too, in the interview process, it's like, were you masking any part of your personality just to appear more professional? Which I don't even want to fucking talk about how stupid professionalism is. Okay. Did you change your tone? Did you adjust your story? Did you say something differently about your truth in order to be more palatable to the people that were listening to you? I remember when I was trying to go into corporate, I was fed up with being a military spouse that nobody would hire because we were seen as like unstable and unreliable. So I didn't mention it. I didn't mention that we were military. I didn't mention that we were only be in that state for 3 years. I didn't mention none of that. And funny enough, I got the job. And when I was giving an example of something that had happened at my husband's job, because they asked why we moved to the area, and I said it was for my husband's work. Um, I contorted the story to not mention that we were military on purpose because I was so tired of being rejected. And that was people pleasing. And then what happened? I worked there 6 months and the pandemic happened and we all went home. And I never stepped foot back in that office, even though I worked for that company for over 4 years. But I felt like I had to shape or reshape who I was or deny a truth in order to get the job. And that's just not authenticity. That's a code switch for survival. And it really starts to eat you from the inside out. Okay. So this module is about calling that out. If you feel like you have to shrink to be accepted, you're in the wrong room. Okay. So the really quick reflection prompt that I want you to get from this is I want you to think about your last interview. Did you feel free to be yourself, or did you have to craft a version of you that they thought they would accept? Okay. How did you feel that you had to change? How did you feel like you had to adjust? Okay. Where have you felt like there was pressure to answer the right way in your applications or in your interviews? Okay. Because so far in your journey, in being a professional and being a person and being a worker, you have associated so much of your value and your worth with how you perform for other people. You have associated so much of the things that you want for yourself based on what other people tell you you have to be and what you have to do. If you don't want to wear pantsuits, don't wear pantsuits. If you don't want to wear shoulder pads, oh man, I remember growing up being like, "You're never going to catch me in those shoulder pads." Don't be in shoulder pads, okay? But if you feel like you cannot be yourself to get in the door, this not your door. You got to find a different one, baby, okay? All right. That's people pleasing. Let's move on to lesson 2.